Alright, we got another evening out here. I started routing some wiring yesterday. I kind of pulled the dash apart just to figure out where I'm going to pluck power from for what I need for the gauge set. Nothing fancy. This is like super dirt cheap gauge set. If I said the whole thing was like less than $40, it's not a lie. And it came with senders, so it's got an electric oil pressure switch, which is down here. I wanted electric. I didn't want an actual oil line routed into the car. I figured this would be easier. So what I'm devising is I'm going to put, there we go. What I'm devising is I'm going to put all these gauges together, get them wired up, and I'm going to wire them into a weather pack connector there, like a little quick connect style. My thinking here is that way I can plug this gauge cluster in, use it when I want, and when I don't want to see this hideous contraption, I can unplug it and hide it in the glove box. So that way I can still enjoy the classic car feel without having these nasty gauges up on the dash or something all the time. They serve a purpose, absolutely, but I'm gonna say under normal driving circumstances, I'm never gonna need them. This is gonna be for the long haul stuff, the real hot days, when you're pushing it a little harder than you should be pushing it. That's when you wanna know what's going on. Otherwise, it'll be fine. So I'm going to set it up so it's got a whip that comes out from under the dash with a connector on it. Everything's going to plug and play, and that way it's quick and painless to snap it on and go. So let me get through this as much as I can tonight. Alright, here's my progress for the evening here. Spent like a little more than an hour on this, putting it all together. Got all the gauges wired up and ready. Everything where I could is crimp or heat shrunk connector. Put it through just some flex. Keep everything kind of looking pretty, because this is the part you're going to actually see once the car is in motion. Well, sorry. You're going to see it. I guess I'm going to see it because I'm driving it, right? Let's see, I didn't even check if it sits up on the dash or whatever, but I don't know where I'm even gonna land this thing when I'm cruising. I imagined like the center console wasn't a terrible spot to throw this down, to just leave it somewhere, but looks like I'd be able to tuck it up on the dash and stuff too if I want, so hopefully I get some options. I bet I could, oh, you know what, it's kind of neat. I could probably feed it right through the ashtray. A lot of room there. I wonder. Whatever. It is what it is. It's going to go somewhere in the car, and it's quite literally just for reference, so it doesn't need to be permanent as far as I'm concerned. Heck, maybe I can just put a hanger out the dash. Yeah, maybe that's a secret. Just put a hanger out the dash and run the cable up underneath and plug it in. That would be perfectly... Yeah, just like this. I kind of like that. You know what? I just have to add a little bit of material to the top lip, and it'll wedge into the dash between the pad and the base here. It would sit right there. It'd be perfectly easy to read it while you're cruising. It's not in the way of the radio or nothing. That might be my answer. Oh, I could even tilt it if I want to get fancy. Alright. I think that's what's going to happen there. Sweet! Alright, so I was playing a little bit, and I got my gauges all set. Let's turn the accessory on and see. Boom. Perfect. Headlight switch. Lights everybody up. Boom. Perfect. I added another relay under the dash, and I'm going to use that for electric fuel pump. I was talking about it some more today, and number one, finding a fuel pump can be a bit tricky because all the good new ones you find are sitting on the shelf for the last 20 years. So it might be a bit of a challenge if you try to find one that works. So I just grabbed your universal clicky clacky here. It's got an inline filter, and I'm gonna park this up under the car. I'm gonna run my supply from the car right to it, and I'll jump into my weather pack set here, and I will create a harness for it so it plugs into the car. And thinking ahead, I bought 2 of these, and I'm gonna put the same pigtail on the other fuel pump so it's quick change, because I'm sure it's gonna last a long time. And yeah, so that way I can just, you know, make it work. Maybe I'll make a pigtail that's, I don't know. We'll do something that makes it easy so I can, even on the road, if I burn through 2 of them, I can make something happen. Not the end of the world, but yeah, on the right page here. So my cooling fan bypass switch now works. My gauges are going to function. They're wired with the exception of the 2 sensors, which is oil pressure and coolant temp. But those sensors are not landing in this block. They're going to end up on the other engine, hopefully in time that's ready. So for now, everybody's run through the firewall and just parked under here and waiting. You can't see any of the wiring for my cooling fan because I was able to disguise it really well too. The only tidbit you'll see is way down by the battery where it jumps on over to the fan itself. And that's, I think it's only a 12-inch fan. It's not very large. It's exactly the size of the rad. I'm curious to see if it keeps up with everything. It seems to be doing well from my test drives, but I haven't had a temperature gauge on it ever, so we're going to see how it goes. But I'm good for the night now. I'm going to shut her down, call it quits, and then we'll see what the next task brings. I think it's going to be physical fuel pump work, getting that ready to install on the car, creating a block off plate for this, but then there's like a push rod that's related to this this fuel pump, and it also regulates an oil galley, so you gotta kind of keep that rod in there, and you don't want to hear it bang booming and smashing around. So I'm gonna make something that's gonna keep it from moving, a little tack a weld or something, and that way it won't go nowhere. But I gotta make a block off plate for it yet. I gotta paint that. I'll have to paint a water pump. I got a new water pump ready to go. And I still gotta pull the engine out. I still gotta do the shock tower repairs. I'd still like to bleed. I bled the rear brakes really well. I'd like to bleed the fronts, get the fluid out of the calipers and replace it. I don't know. There's other stuff I bet that I don't remember. Oh, the transmission. I gotta drop the oil. I gotta get the. I'd like to change oil in the transmission because I boiled it when I went to Pennsylvania last time. It got real hot. What else? I don't know. There's probably more stuff. We'll see as it goes. I jumped ahead a few steps, pulled the rear hatch. It's just the 2 hinges, third brake light, and rear defrost power wire. I've got to do a little bit of repair for the rear defrost. I've got 2 lines that I'm aware of that are broken. And, you know, if you look at the last 2 items on the list, the very last one is fixed rear defrost. Before that is window tint. I'd like to have this window tinted, and it would be backwards if I do the tint first. So I figure fix this first, then it's done. Then, you know, before I hit the road here, if I have the chance to get it tinted, awesome. If I don't have the chance to get it tinted, not great, but it is what it is at this point. So I'm going to try to fix this. Never done it before with this kit. Seems pretty straightforward. I was reading through the directions. I've just got 2 small spots to deal with here from a repair. Of course, it only comes with one of their little stencil patch units. I feel like I'm going to get away with using tape, but I'm going to try and see. But we'll see what happens here. Give it a shot. There we go. I followed the directions, and now I'm just trying to maintain some temperature in there so it can cure properly. Somewhere between 50 and 80 degrees or something, or 50 and 75, so I'm kind of hovering around 70. Depending on how much I play with this blanket, it changes the heat, which is perfect. So let this set. It's got a set for, I gotta wait about 30 minutes before I can pull off my templates. Doesn't look like they bled through all that bad, so we're going to see once it's all done what it actually looks like. But the one test it said was if you see no light through the line, that's an indication that you're on the right page, and there's no actual light transmitting through those lines. I did play with the resistance. I didn't touch the fresh line, but I touched where the paint was on the tape, and I was getting continuity across. And then my continuity measurement, I basically did it from the outside of the tape on both. I was seeing a reduction, meaning that there's less resistance, because it'll read either way, right? Like it'll go backwards through the completed loop to give you a resistance reading. But really the shortest line, electricity's lazy. It likes to take the shortest route possible. So if we, you know, compare that to the rest, it was getting closer and closer. So I think we're on the right page. But yeah, let this dry for a while, see where we land. In the meantime, I'm going to work on a mount for the cooling fan override button in the car, and I'll come back to this in a little bit. All right, so over here on the Pontiac, what's the newest thing I got? Pulled the rear seat out because I was working on the fuel pump. So my fuel pump drops through under the rear seat. It's mounted up in a safe spot over here. I don't know if we're gonna see anything because it's darkness, but that's cool, yep. So it's basically in a spot where it would be accessible on the side of the road without like specialty tools. So in this case, to change it, I need an 11 mil socket, a couple zip ties, and something to loosen and then tighten gear clamps. I just finished connecting the new fuel pump. I got my hands on some fresh line and clamps. So I've got everything attached. I have not pressurized the system yet to test it, but I'm about to do that. In fact, I just popped the fuse into the fuse holder under the dash that feeds the fuel pump. I redid all my lines and my filter up front here to try to clean things up. So my main fuel feed goes straight into a filter. From the filter, adapts back to the original hard line up into the carb. There is an inline filter on the carb. I don't use that little barrel filter. I've always gone with an external. There we go. There should be plenty of light to see it leak. Sounds like it's holding pressure. The pump is still running, but it's off, so it's made it 7 pounds or what have you. It's pretty firm. We should try to start it. Suppose that's the next step. Alright, I took the jack and the jack stands out from under the car. We definitely have pressure. Let me crank it and see what happens here. That was easy. Sounds pretty happy, but well, it's pushing fuel, so good.